the market is going to crash. Well, that's what some people say. I'm Alex Rivlin with the Rivlin Group, and on today's video, we're going to talk about the market dynamics, what may cause a crash, and also what will counter the potential for an actual crash. If you like my station and you've seen videos here before, or you'd like to see some of the other videos that I have, please subscribe below, like the video if you love what I'm saying here, and also please comment, ask questions, anything that I can help you with, I would love to. There are so many reasons why people could point to the market potentially crashing. The prices have gone up in a rapid fashion, right? We all know that homes that were $300,000 just a couple of years ago, maybe $500,000, even $600,000 in certain markets. And interest rates are rising. That's got to scare people into not wanting to buy a home right now. Let me talk to you about a few reasons that counter that position. Well, first, the media can fuel self-fulfilling prophecies. Think about it. If the media says that the economy is going into turmoil and people should save their money, then what do people do? Well, we save our money. We tighten up on our wallets. We don't spend as regularly or frivolously as we may have in the past. Now, what does that do? Well, retail sales go down, maybe travel slows down, other industries get hit, and as a result, that does slow the economy because those companies now have to lay people off, unemployment goes up, there's less money to spend, and that whole revolving cycle of the economy from somebody paying somebody else to paying somebody else to paying it back is now completely destroyed. So that's one thing, is if we listen solely to certain articles we may read or certain news we may hear, we can cause our own crash. Now, you may have heard in the news that mortgage companies are laying people off en masse. We're talking 20, 30% cuts. Well, now let's investigate that a little bit deeper. Through the historically low rates that we were seeing over the past couple of years, in the 3% range and even dropping down into the high to mid 2s, it was a phenomenal time for anybody that already owned a home to refinance. So that's just what people did. Anyone that had creditworthiness and good employment and solid tax returns was able to refinance their home. Now that we're seeing rates in the 4, 5, and even low 6% areas, there's no reason to refinance when you already have a mortgage in the low 4s or the 3s or even in the high 2s. So without refinances, there's not such a need for the staffing that they had once before. What you may not know is over the past couple of years, refinances have counted for 71% of loans. That's a staggering figure. So yes, people will be laid off and mortgage application numbers are way down. It only makes sense. The refinances have effectively gone away. Now let's also talk about home value versus inflation. Most of us know what's going on with inflation. We're seeing it in gas prices, in grocery prices, in restaurant prices, in travel, pretty much across the board. You're seeing things go up in cost. Now, home prices are going to also reflect that. So to think that inflation is going to continue to go up while house prices are going down, you've now got a double whammy there. So because we're also fighting inflation, home prices are still likely to go up. And even if they do take a correction, still likely to be above where they are right now. Now let's talk about a couple other topics. One, the last 5 recessions. The last 5 recessions that we've had, home prices have actually increased in 4 of those recessions. The only recession that home prices decreased in was the Great Recession, otherwise known as the crash of 2008. Now that recession was almost solely based on housing and the house of cards that was built by poor lending practices and people way overextending. Now at that time we had high inventory and low homeowner demand. So investors were coming in and snatching up all they could on no documentation loans, and they overextended. So when that demand dried up and there was enough inventory for everybody, home prices naturally went down because that's the way supply and demand works. When there's more supply and less demand, people on the demand side get to dictate a little more of what the prices are. In our case now, we have an extremely low supply and very high demand. And even if you thought, well, the demand may go away because people might tighten up their wallets, we still have a growing population and not enough rooftops to cover them. So we are going to need more homes regardless, and the supply is still going to stay lower and the demand will still stay higher, or at least balanced with that supply. Also, during the last recession, as home prices really inflated, rent prices didn't. So for somebody that was looking to buy a home, they would look at a mortgage and let's say it would be $2,500 for that mortgage, and they could rent the same home, say for $1,700. Now, why pay that $800 delta? Because you could paint the walls the color you like, or it's something you could call your own? Not really. It's not a prudent decision. So when rent prices are far below what a mortgage would cost you, a lot of people opt to rent and wait out that market. In our current market, you can still buy a home for at or less than what the comparable home is renting for right now. So people can either give the money to a landlord and make somebody else rich, or keep it for themselves. We have to face it, no matter what, we're paying a mortgage. It's just a matter of, is it our mortgage or is it somebody else's that we're helping getting rich? And the last point that I want to hit on is something that's not talked about much. And sorry if this strikes a chord with you, but I've got to be real. On all of my videos, that's what you'll see, is that I am quite real. And I want to talk to you about credit card interest versus mortgage interest. Well, mortgage interest is all the news. It's all the rage. Everybody's talking about it. The rates are going up. Home affordability is going down. You could afford a lot less house for the same amount of payment as a result of so much of it going to interest. Once again, it really doesn't matter how much goes to interest if the comparable house that you would rent is going to do the same, because then it's just all going to rent, which is paying somebody else's interest and their principal, and again, helping them build wealth. So you can do that for yourself. What I don't hear a lot of people talk about is credit card interest. And there is an excessive amount of credit card debt in this nation, and a lot of the people that come to me to help them find a home, when we go through their financials and they're going through it with their lender, we find that they do have credit card debt. And that credit card debt is oftentimes as high as 23.99%. So riddle me this. How is it okay to pay 23.99% of interest on a credit card, oftentimes to buy things that we don't really need, yet paying 5.5% or 6% interest on a home that you're going to build equity in and build wealth in isn't? So that's one of those things that make you go, This is Alex Rivlin with the Rivlin Group. If you love what I'm talking about here, or want to see any of my other videos, go ahead and click subscribe, like the video, and please, please, please comment. I would love to hear what you have to say and be able to respond to you with any questions you may have. We know Henderson.